Git ko nga kanina, ito, panoorin niyo.
Ito yung nakuha kong balita kahapon, no. There are stories.
Shout out pala nitong vlogger na ito na si Jesus Duque. Siya yung vlogger na nag-e-expose doon sa lugar nila Sandro Marcos kung saan ang dami pong mga di umano mga ghost projects at mga hindi natapos na projects doon. Okay. Ito siya, may bago siyang nalalamang balita. Okay? Panoorin natin.
Na magtatangka ang administrasyon ni Marcos na pasukin ang central office ng Iglesia ni Cristo dyan sa Commonwealth. At ang senaryo na gagamitin nila, allegedly, nandyan si Bato de la Rosa nagtatago. And that magkakaroon ng mga testigo na magsasabi na nakita nila, etc. etc. Alam niyo naman, sa gobyerno, there is always the presumption of regularity. Pag kumilos ang gobyerno, you will not ask questions now. You will ask the questions later. Di ba? Kasi there is always a presumption na yung ginagawa nila illegal. Di ba? Ang purpose ng paggawa ng ganyan is that, alam nyo, init na rin itong mga congressman. Itong mga congressman na ang kanilang boto ay nakadepende sa Iglesia ni Cristo, na eto sila ngayon ay bumoto sa impeachment at very vocal sa impeachment ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Natatakot ang mga ito na hindi suportahan ng Iglesia ni Cristo. And the only assurance that this administration can make, itong Marcos administration, is to destroy Iglesia ni Cristo. Yun lang yun eh. Alam nyo, pagkwentuhan na ng ganito, palaliman ng pag-iisip, hindi nyo may iwan si Madarahog. Because I've been talking to a lot of people and isa lang ang lumalabas. Di ba? Ang hadlang na lang sa administrasyon na ito, na isang malaking organisasyon ay ang Iglesia ni Cristo. Nasira na nila yung GIL, nasira na nila yung QOJC. Mula na magsimula, ang El Shaddai ay sa kanila. Ang Roman Catholic Church, through the Liberal Party, nasa kanila na rin. And ang pinaka-malaking hadlang na lang is the Iglesia ni Cristo. And Iglesia ni Cristo continues to be the critic of this administration. At the only way to destroy it is to attack it by using legal means kuno. And to create a narrative that it is an evil organization. Alam niyo na, di ba? Maglalabasan yung mga kwento-kwento na naman na kung ano-ano galing sa mga vloggers ni Marcos. Well, nakakabahala. Ang sobra na ang iniisip ng administrasyon na ito in destroying its people. Hindi lang sa economics, hindi lang sa governance, hindi lang sa corruption, kung hindi pati yung paniniwala ng tao. Pakikialaman na nila. They are really afraid na at the turn of 2028, iba ang maging Pangulo at lahat sila habulin sa kanilang mga kasalanan. Sila ang nasa poder ngayon. They will do everything to extend their power by whatever means necessary. Alam niyo, maraming beses na pala nag-attempt ang administrasyon na ito na i-bait genuinely ang taong bayan at ang mga leader ng oposisyon na mag-create ng chaos para makapagdeklara ito ng martial law. Pero hindi nangyayari. These are stories. Siyempre, wala naman naamin, wala naman magsasalita na talagang ganito ang pag-iisip ng administrasyon na ito. But if you look at it, wala pa silang sinabi na gagawin nila, na nagawa nila. They have been saying na hindi sila magko-cooperate sa ICC and they cooperated. Sabi sila, walang warrant of arrest si Bato at yet tinutulungan nila yung ICC na madakip si Bato for their own benefit. Diba? Nakita nyo ngayon yung pagpalit ng liderato sa Senado. It is not about programs of government. It's about impeachment and the flood control issue. More on the flood control and a little bit of the impeachment. Pero ngayon nakikita natin na yung impeachment talagang they arrested Jinggoy, they suspended Jinggoy, kulang na ng isa, di ba? Pag ma-arresto si Marcoleta, isususpend din, kulang na ng dalawa, magiging 22 na ang senador na buboto sa impeachment. And if they will be able to arrest Bato, and if Bato will be brought to The Hague, magiging 21 na lang. And the numbers will drop, and the probability of conviction will go high. So, itong vlog na to is a boring and long lecture. Pero, it goes to show that the Filipino people, the Filipino audience has already matured, and that they already acknowledge na yung impormasyon na nanggagaling sa ibang tao na nakakapag-analisa is better than those that are prepared by the people of the government para isaksak sa utak ng mga Pilipino at paniwalaan ito para magtagumpay ang kanilang iniisip para sa kanilang mga sarili. Sayang ang bayot.
Ayan Maraming salamat sa iyo, vlogger Jesus Duque. DDS na DDS vlogger ito ha. Palakpakan kay Jesus Duque. Magaling, magaling. Itong si Jesus Duque, magaling na vlogger to. Magaling rin na analyst. Maraming copy ito. Ano ito eh. Marami itong nalalaman eh. Malapit nga ito kay Chavit Singson. Yan po, no? Loud and clear ang sinabi ni Jesus Duque sa posibleng mangyari. Ito na nga, ipapakita ko rin itong ano ha. Kay Marcoleta. Grabe, ang dami kong believe nitong si Senator Marcoleta noong panahon na siya pa po ay isang congressman noong panahon ng administrasyong Duterte. Believe na ako dito sa taong ito na may paninindigan. Marami diyan nagpapanggap na mga matapang kuno pero wala namang bayag pagdating ng panahon. Kagaya ni Joel, yung ginawa ni Joel, diba? Sabi ni Senator Marcoleta, he will not resist arrest on made-up bribery plunder raps. Naninindigan si Senador Rodante Marcoleta na haharapin niya ang mga kasong isinampa sa kanya matapos anyang makatanggap ng impormasyon na huhulihin na siya anumang araw. So, nabanggit na yan na anytime aarestuhin na hinog na raw ang kaso ni Senator Marcoleta. So, kung ano man ang naging nangyari kay Senator Jinggoy Estrada, ay maging ganoon rin ang magiging mangyari kay Senator Marcoleta. At ako po ay personal kong naniniwala ako dito sa taong ito, dito sa mamang ito, na pagdating ng panahon na ipipressure siya ng administrasyon, hindi ito gagaya ni Joel Villanueva. Haharapin niya. Kaya nga, ang daming sumaludo dito kay Senator Jinggoy. Di ba? So ako, hindi na ako magtataka dyan kung si Senator Marcoleta ay hindi po makapag-participate dito sa impeachment trial dito sa magaganap ni VP Sara. Okay? Isa ito sa mga sagabal sa administrasyong Marcos. So they have to take out Senator Marcoleta. Yan. Diyan lang naman sila magaling itong administrasyon na ito. Gagamitin nila ang kanilang resources para i-disarm ang kanilang kalaban sa politika. Nakakahiya po kayo. Sobrang nakakahiya. Ito, pakinggan natin itong si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, ni Real Talk itong mga bangag 13. Ito po, panoorin natin.
Yung tinitignan ng mundo. So yung iba, nung si Alan Senate President, kaya natin lumaban. Hindi po. Ngayon, mas maipapakita ng Panginoon ang laban sapagkat tinanggal na sa atin pati kapangyarihan. Actually, kahit naman nandun tayo, nasa kanila lahat ng kapangyarihan, lahat ng pera.
Lahat ng kapangyarihan ng administrasyon. Alam nyo ba kung ano yung isa sa mga pinaka gusto ko dito kay Senator Alan? Kasi binibase niya ang kanyang analysis sa Biblia, sa mga nangyayari ngayon. And this is all connected. What happens in the Bible? Kukuha tayo ng wisdom sa Bible sa mga pangyayari ngayon. Yan ang kagalingan nga ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Pero itong mga kalaban, pasanto-santo yan si, especially kung anong mga parinig ni Tulfo, di ba? Sinuway pa niya yung ginawa ni Marcoleta na bakit raw laging bumabanggit ng mga Biblia, mga biblical quotes. Wala kang karapatan dyan. Don't you know na sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, wala na tayong ibang kakapitan kundi ang Panginoon na lang? Minamaliit nila yung style ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano sa pagiging biblical niya. Ito po, panoorin natin ng buo ito ha.
Di ba? Lahat ng bag, lahat ng maleta, lahat ng bag, pati libag, nasa kanila na. Di ba? Hindi, libag means dumi. Anong hawak lang natin noon? Ang hawak lang natin noon ay katotohanan.
Correct.
Di ba? Okay. So, let me jump. No? So, two things. Number one, we cannot do anything that is unbiblical. So, ganun din, let's not do anything that is unconstitutional.
Correct.
Let's not be tempted that because they violated the rules, we
Ang
violate.
problema dito sa administrasyon ngayon, kahit unconstitutional na ang kanilang ginagawa pa rin nila. Kapal ng mukha
The rules, di ba? So, meron rules na anyway, I won't go there, but you know what I'm saying. Just because sila ginawa nila yon. So, I was telling kanina sila, anong dehado yamado ng Christian sa politika? In a sense, dehado tayo kasi bakit? So, all throughout my political life, for example, may nililigaw na leader. Yung hindi Christian, reregaluhan ng lalaki o ng babae, depende sa preference niya. Yung kabila, para ligawan. Susuhulan. Pagka nagdebate, kahit kasinungalingan, gagamitin. Ang Christian leader, hindi pwedeng magregalo ng tao. Ang Christian leader, hindi dapat manuhol. Ang Christian leader, hindi dapat magsabi ng hindi totoo. So, sasabihin mo, paano kayo mananalo? Because your strength is also your weakness is your strength. Because truth is your strength. And if you look in terms of battles, natatalo kayo minsan. Pero if you think in terms of wars, di ba? You win the war because truth eventually wins out.
Correct.
But syempre, humanly, ayaw mong tumagal. Sino ba naman may gusto ng gera, laban ng laban? That's why yung iba nating kasama sa Senado ay dati nating mga allies for the truth. Pero napagod nung tumanda na. Di ba? So nung tuta pa lang sila, gusto nila katotohanan. Nung naging aso na, napagod na eh. Di ba? Okay.
Ping Lacson, makinig ka. Tuta ka dati, ngayon aso ka na.
So, babalikan ko yun mamaya. So for me, I'll just leave that with you today. Diba? One, you have to have a foundation. Kailangan may babalikan ka. So pag sinabi kong, eto gagawin ko sa Senado, ano ba sabi ng rules sa Senado? Ano ba sabi ng Constitution? So eto ang gagawin natin sa Pilipinas. O ano ba sabi ng Bible? Diba? Okay, pangalawa, nasa
Para sa akin, no, binaboy nila ang konstitusyon ng Pilipinas. Naging useless ang konstitusyon natin ngayon eh. Sila nang masunod lahat.
an ba ang Panginoon? Ano bang gusto niyang gawin? Yun ang atin. At ako'y naniniwala, gusto niya ng revival. Gusto niya ng repentance. Labas lahat ng baho. Labas lahat ng problema. Ang addict ay hindi magagamot pag hindi niya inamin na addict siya.
BBM, umamin ka na ba? Hindi, nagtatanong lang tayo ha. Bakit ayaw mo kasing magpa-hair follicle test, BBM?
Addict yan sa sex, addict yan sa sugal, addict sa alcohol, addict sa drugs. Tignan nyo sa US, yung mga anonymous, di ba? Let's say alcoholic anonymous. Ang umpisa mo, hi, I am Pedro de la Cruz. I am Juan de la Cruz. I'm Maria de la Cruz. And I'm an addict. Why? Because pag hindi mo inamin, yung tinitignan ng mundo. So yung iba, nung si Alan, Senate President, kaya natin lumaban. Hindi po. Ngayon, mas maipapakita ng Panginoon ang laban sapagkat tinanggal na sa atin pati kapangyarihan. Actually, kahit naman nung nandun tayo, nasa kanila lahat ng kapangyarihan, lahat ng pera. Di ba? Lahat ng bag, lahat ng maleta, lahat ng bag, pati libag, nasa kanila na. Di ba? Hindi, libag means dumi. Anong hawak lang natin noon? Ang hawak lang natin noon ay katotohanan.
So, yun po ang real talk ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano dito sa mga Bangag 13. So, hindi naman talaga anong tawag dyan? Hindi naman talaga sila magaling, itong mga Bangag 13. Magaling lang sila sa bending the law. Yun ang katotohanan. Dito, panoorin nyo itong kay Luis Tro. Kasi usap-usapan na kinain raw ito ng buhay. Tatawa ko dun sa balita. Ginisa siya ng ginisa dito ni Attorney Sheila of Defense Team ni BP Sara.
Po sa gusto sigurong maintindihan ito ng mas mabuti, what happened Thursday is what we call the pre-trial conference or it's a pre-trial meeting. Buong araw po yon and it was closed to media. Hindi ho ba, Kong Jinky?
That is correct. And I think the reason is because very tedious itong process na ito and a little boring kasi marking of every piece of document, no? Which the public may not find interesting. But this is really very significant, Pinky. And if I may share it with our countrymen, no? Ito pong pre-trial conference na ito, ina-address yung mga initial matters na pwedeng pag-usapan upang magkaroon tayo ng mas simple, mas mabilis, at mas patas na trial, no? To be very specific, una po, nagkaroon po tayo ng proposed stipulation of facts. Pwede pong i-admit or i-deny ng kabilang party. Ang purpose, bawasan ang mga pagtatalunan during the trial. So yung may mga admissions, considered siya na established facts na, no need to prove it during the trial, no?
I see.
Second, ginagawa din po dito yung submission ng names of witnesses. The purpose is to be able to determine also the number of trial dates na kakailanganin ng prosecution on one hand at ng defense on the other hand. And another important thing is of course the marking of documents sapagkat very time-consuming po ito kung ito'y sa trial pa gagawin. Kaya dito po ito ginagawa sa pre-trial conference, no? To summarize, Pinky, the stipulation of facts, the issues for resolution, names of witnesses, and even the number of proposed trial dates for both parties, submitted na lahat yan sa impeachment court. Kaya lang, hindi tayo natapos sa marking of exhibits. Again, it's because of the voluminous documents that we have in support particularly of the article on unexplained wealth and the confidential fund. And that is why babalik tayo sa impeachment court this Monday upang ipagpatuloy ang marking of our documents. Hopefully matapos, para pag natapos na po ito, we will just be waiting for the pre-trial order. At ito pong pre-trial order na ito, it will embody everything that happened, agreed on during pre-trial conference, and this will be binding to both parties, including the impeachment court, at bawal po mag-debate. Yan na po yung susundan natin during the entire trial.
So what we're expecting to happen is another pre-trial conference on Monday. Hopefully matapos po yun. After that, yung sinabi niyo po, Kong Jinky, na pre-trial order, tama ho ba?
Well, I'm not so sure kung paano ba issue itong pre-trial order. most likely, Pinky, this will be issued na lang without convening of the impeachment
Okay.
court, no? Kasi ang understanding ko, yung start ng trial na July 6 will be presentation of evidence na, no? So, immediately after termination of pretrial conference, we can anticipate na the issuance of pretrial order.
But I heard, Kong Jinky, there is this June 25 submission or summons. Meron pa ho. That's what I heard during the report yesterday.
It is actually June 22, that is Monday, no? Para dun sa mga written manifestations na gusto pang isumite ng mga parties like the prosecution and the defense, no? For example, yung comment dito sa mga proposed stipulation of facts, pwede yun.
I see.
Kung meron ka pang gustong isuggest concerning the trial dates, pwede pa rin. Kung meron kang additional manifestation, pwede pa rin. In other words, yung June 22, sinet yan if ever there are any other manifestations which the parties may wish to file.
Got it. Okay. So you were saying in the beginning, I wanted to circle back to that. Sabi niyo po na hindi din pinakita po ito sa media at ginawang live or accessible dahil nga po boring. Pero yung balita po namin, Kong Jinky, nagkaroon po ng tensyon. Can you tell us more about that?
Siguro naman it is better described by disagreement rather than tension, no? Sapagkat we have to understand, Pinky, na this is an adversarial proceeding, no? The position of the prosecution is completely opposite to the position of the defense and therefore anticipated yung maraming disagreements, not necessarily tensions, in the proceeding. As a matter of fact, makikita din natin ito during the trial. Ang sabi ko nga, Pinky, pagtaka tayo if the position of the prosecution and the defense is uniform, no? Sapagkat adversarial to. We are alleging commission of offenses while the other one is claiming innocence of the respondent. Totally opposite. And this disagreement will definitely extend up to the conclusion of our impeachment trial.
Did
no?
it happen,
But-
Congresswoman, that the disagreements nagkaroon po ng pagtataas ng mga boses?
Well, hindi naman siguro pagtataas ng boses yun. Siguro ay naging passionate lang ang mga parties in explaining their point. And again, that is very natural in all adversarial proceedings, no?
And that was between who? Because meron pong lumabas na isang tweet, I think, that it was between you and Attorney Sheila Huba.
No, not necessarily, no? I would charge the exchange of arguments as merely maintaining our respective positions, mine for the prosecution and hers for the defense, no? But I do not describe it as tension. It is merely disagreement and opposite position and keeping our respective grounds. Ako in the prosecution at siya doon sa defense.
Which you were saying is regular, ordinary, or normal in an adversarial proceeding. Congresswoman Jinky, I know that there was a lot that was discussed and obviously two opposing teams, hindi ho ba? But one thing I wanted to find out was that when there were marking of evidence and stipulation of facts. Did it come out over and over again, if it did, that the defense is still claiming there is a petition before the Supreme Court that does not recognize what happened during the House Justice Committee that you headed? Did that come out a number of times during the pre-trial conference yesterday?
Actually, Pinky, wala namang masyadong discussion on that because as a matter of fact, even assuming na may mga ganyang manifestation, that is not proper during the pre-trial conference, no? As a matter of fact, kagaya ng nasabi mo, submitted na itong issues na to sa Supreme Court, premature siyang i-discuss during PTC, and even if you try to raise it during the trial proper, hindi pa rin pwede because that is a constitutional question that belongs exclusively to the Supreme Court. And we have to understand that the Senate is not an appellate court of the House. Whatever happened in the House is within the exclusive jurisdiction of the House.
Let me rephrase the question then. During the stipulation of facts, during the submission of the names of witnesses, was there a time there rather that the defense would say that hindi kami papayag dyan, that's something we're opposing because of the mere fact that we did not recognize there was an abuse during the House Justice Committee hearing on the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. I was just thinking about that, kung lumalabas po yung ganon dahil nga hindi nila kinilala yung nangyari doon sa House Justice Committee.
Without dwelling into the details of what happened during the PTC, because I hope you understand we're bound by the prohibition already, but that issue is not a proper subject of the PTC or pre-trial conference, no? Sapagkat strictly, dapat ang ating discussion during PTC are only with respect to the agenda mentioned in the notice. And even assuming that we will be going beyond the agenda, it is premature to discuss issues like that. At sabi ko nga kanina, kahit pa yata erase mo yun during the trial, hindi pa rin proper because that is a constitutional issue na dapat Supreme Court and agree resolve. It is beyond the jurisdiction of the impeachment court.
Let's talk about the submission of names of witnesses. Congresswoman, how many witnesses are there for the prosecution, and how many witnesses are there for the defense? And let me follow up already, if you don't mind. Are surprise witnesses allowed? Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, as to the number, let me make reference to the prior pronouncement ko. No, I said before that it's 57. As to the actual numbers that we have during the pre-trial conference, I cannot divulge that anymore. We are bound by the prohibition. And then about the surprise witness. About the surprise witness, it is not actually surprise in the sense that you're supposed to make a reservation. No? Kung hindi mo yan ma-reserve, then you cannot present him as well during the trial. Ang sabi sa rules, as a general rule, dapat lahat ng witnesses naka-indicate na doon sa pre-trial brief, including the documents or exhibits. No? If you don't disclose them in the pre-trial brief as a general rule, you cannot present them during the trial. However, there is an exception. Pagdating doon sa witness and there is an issue of safety and security, pwedeng reservation lang muna. And then you will just disclose it to the impeachment court 3 days before his presentation. No?
Oh.
Tapos isama
Pwedeng mabenda law.
ko na pink yun sa documents. Kung hindi pa available yung document or not yet within the knowledge of the parties, pwede din, reservation lang muna. And within 3 days, not later than 3 days before presentation, doon mo palang i-disclose sa court during the trial.
In other words, Congresswoman, pwede. Pwede po ang surprise witness basta disclose 3 days before, and pwede din ang additional documents as long as disclose 3 days before. Did I get that right, ma'am?
I don't consider that a surprise, Pinky, kasi as a matter of fact, there is a requirement na dapat i-reserve mo. Tapos i-justify mo bakit hindi mo ma-disclose kung sino yan, di ba? So, I don't consider that as a surprise witness. Perhaps reserve witness ang more accurate term.
Reserve witnesses. And
Nandyan na naman tayo sa mga terminologies mo. Tingnan nyo yung terminologies mo doon sa House Committee on Justice, di ba? Nasablay ka na doon. Karon gumawa ka na naman ng ibang terminology. Reserve, hindi surprise. Ay nako. So anyway, guys, no, ayan, napakinggan ninyo si Luis Tro. Mag-comment, mag-react po kayo. Babasahin natin ang mga komento nyo sa comment section ng inyong mga opinion, okay?